My name is Shadow Davis. I work in the marketing department and my title is Video Production Manager. If I were to describe my job, I probably would say I manage a small team of video producers. We create a lot of the content for our social media channels. We create content for internal pieces, and we also create content for sponsorships. We have a lot of contracted videos with them, so we kind of help them create content that not only represents them, but also represents Hendrick Motorsports. Whenever I am managing my team, we have all of our projects and I help kind of disperse them, help them where I can. Other things that I do in my job, and what I like about my job is that I get to be the videographer and the editor, plus the graphic designer, plus any sort of way that I can create content. That's kind of my job, to help Hendrick Motorsports kind of promote whatever we're trying to convey, if that's a social media post, if that's a video kind of showing what we do on campus. Like, there's just so many different avenues that we can take, and I just kind of help tell that story. I think this is where I can relate to a lot of people, especially just graduating from high school. Sometimes you don't really know what you want to do, and it honestly took me until probably my sophomore year of college to actually figure out what I wanted to do, because I always knew that I was creative and that's kind of the avenue I wanted to do. But if anyone's like me, especially in high school, like, you're looking at your parents or other kids, your friends' parents' jobs, or older siblings, so you're kind of limited on what there is in the world. And I think whenever I was in college, I did a lot of my general education type things, but once I started talking to people and kind of exploring the programs, I noticed that there was something called digital media. And I liked that it was so broad, because there's so many different things that I like to do. I don't like to do the same thing every day. So I kind of dabbled in digital media, and there was just this whole avenue of just different paths that I could take. And I started taking classes in 3D modeling, graphic design, video editing. I did videography. I did audio. There was just so many different things, and I found them all just so incredibly interesting. So I kind of created my own degree. It's technically digital media, but the things that I like to focus on was the videography side and editing, post-production. I think that's where I have probably my most education is in post-production. So basically, once the videographer gives you all of the footage, you can kind of take it from there and make it however you want. And I really like that aspect, but I also love graphic design. So I took a bunch of classes in graphic design, ended up making that my minor. So it took me a while to get to where I wanted to be, but once I got there, everything started to make sense. And after I graduated, I still was kind of dabbling in different things. I liked the idea of freelancing because I got to do all those different types of things that I was super interested in. And that kind of helped me find the job at Hendrick Motorsports, because I was able to not just sit behind a computer and just edit. I could actually be out in the field, being a videographer, and taking my own footage and creating whatever I wanted to create, which I think with social media and kind of where things are going with that really allowed me to kind of make these short, fast clips that I got to do in college, I wasn't really interested on the broadcasting side of things, and I wasn't really interested in like the long form documentary style things or TV. So this job allowed me to do everything that I wanted to do. So that's kind of how I got from basically not knowing what I wanted to do at all to being in a position where I get to do everything that I'm interested in. To excel in a role similar to mine, I would probably say that someone must have the drive to constantly be creative and to never be stale and doing the same thing over and over, because everything is changing. Social media is changing. You have to keep up with the trends. So I probably would say that you just got to keep up with your creativity and never stop learning. If I could go back in time and give advice to myself, I probably would say to just always be learning. If you don't know how to do something, I would say, there's so many different avenues that you can take to learn how to do what you want to do. For me, videography wasn't my strong suit. Post-production was more something that I felt very confident in. So what I would do at school, like we could rent out equipment, and sometimes I would rent out equipment and just kind of play around with it. And if you don't have that avenue, there's so many different places now where you can just rent different things. Now I do this a lot more than back then, but like I'm watching YouTube videos all the time, learning how to do different things. Because, I'm looking through resumes and I see a lot of kids coming out of college. And I think one of the biggest things that I look for, you don't have to be an expert in anything. You don't have to be an expert in something specific or something that you're dabbling in. Like, I think that when you have different things that you are interested in, like, for example, Premiere is just a video editing software, but something that goes hand in hand with that is After Effects. And if you have both of those skills, or you do graphic design, or you're really great at audio, like, you have to diversify yourself in different things, because that is what makes you stand out from other people. And that not only helps you get a job, but also like helps you better yourself and make you better at your job. I would say my favorite part about my job is I don't have to just sit behind a desk and edit all day. I mean, right now I kind of am because I'm in quarantine. And I think that makes me realize how much I miss being out in the field, being able to be a videographer, because I get to take projects from the very beginning, which is simple as, all these shots. And in my mind, I'm constantly thinking of how do I want to lay this out? Like, how do I want to edit this? Because there's nothing worse than getting to the editing stage and you're missing footage that's key to making the video complete. So I think my favorite part about this job is I get to be a part of that. Like, I get to help come up with and brainstorm what the idea is, and then I get to go out and I get to shoot it all, and then I get to edit it, however I want to. Of course, there's going to be people that have opinions, and you always have to not just be able to make yourself happy and please yourself with the work that you create, but also, this is a collaboration of working not only with people in the marketing department, but also like our sponsors. Like, you can't look at things as it's just my way or the highway, like you have to be able to work with people. And that might go back to the advice thing, like being able to work with people, to make your videos ultimately better. is, I mean, some of my favorite things about working here.